Hello again, everyone. Mark Hackle, Macomb County Executive. Fortunately, today I've got a couple of judges here in Macomb County. Esteemed judges, have been around for quite some time. My brother, Bill, who happens to be the District Court Judge out here in New Baltimore, Bill Hackle. And also with us, James Biernat, Circuit Court Judge. He's the Chief Judge of the Circuit Court here in Macomb County. And interesting, the conversations we've had, not only dealing with the COVID and the cases and the testing and everything else, really there's been a lot of activity and work within the county in various departments and organizations, in particular with the courts, in making sure that justice is still moving forward and how do we deal with that. There's been a huge impact on the courts and law enforcement to try to figure out how do we deal with the caseload, what are we doing at the courts, how do we make sure that the people that are coming to court feel protected and feel safe. But boy, it's really been impactful. And again, Jim, from your perspective, I guess a lot of this is dictated by the state court, and they're the ones that kind of help guide what we're doing right now. But there's some questions that the public has.
Yes.
When they're going to get back in full motion here, and even the prosecutor's office weighing in on this.
That's correct. We do follow. The Supreme Court Administrator's Office gives us a policy to follow. We have the courts follow 4 phases. Now we're in phase 2, and it's been slow going, but we're gradually coming back. More people are coming into court. We don't have the public still in court. The public can watch actually proceedings on YouTube, but hopefully we're in the process of trying to get approval for trials, and hopefully once we're in phase 3, things will be relaxed and we can move into a more normal situation than we have been for the last 5 months.
Yeah, and Judge Hackle, this is your court, this is your house here at New Baltimore Court, and I say that, it's the people's house, but in reality, people know when you're the judge, you are the one that kind of runs the show here. But you still are open. There's still some court cases, yet not jury trials yet, going on in your court.
Yeah, we're open to the door to deal with certain cases. Public is given the option, show up, but if you want to do it on the Zoom, we're doing that. And part of what I think people are seeing with what's around Judge Biernat and myself is our way of trying to move a little bit, to be ahead of the curve, so when we start to open up, we're ready, rather than wait till we're open and then start putting in things. So we got this opportunity, so we started putting things in, and public is coming in. We limit the number of people in the room. Everybody's got to fill out forms and get their temperature checked.
And as they're coming into the court, there's that process they need to go through with any county building or government building right now, filling out a form, making sure that they haven't been in contact, haven't tested positive. In fact, are they screening them for temperature as well when they come in?
Right.
Sure.
And we ask people, be honest about it. Tell us what you got. And if you don't, great. If something came up, all right. Well, we can work around it to. It's a lot about, we want you to be safe and we want everybody else to be safe. And that's why you see this and some of the other things we put up around here. We got the hand sanitizers. We ask you to wear a mask. It's all about being safe, feeling comfortable, yet we're here. Come on in, let's deal with the business we have to do.
Take care of the court works that need to be done. But again, when you're talking about protecting yourself and being prepared, it's not just the people that are coming here because they got an appearance, maybe because of a citation or an issue, or even because they got a court appearance for a misdemeanor violation or some other hearing. There are people that are working here that are staff. We're trying to make sure we keep them safe. You got the prosecutor's office that come here, the other attorneys on behalf of some of these clients that are coming in, as well as yourself. So with that, all these precautions, and as Judge Hackle had mentioned, we're trying to get ahead of it. With our facilities and operations, this is one of the courts that the county is responsible for and we deal with. Putting in the plexiglass separators is getting ahead of it, meaning there is no jury trials going on right now in this court, or even a circuit court that I'm aware of. It's pretty much any of the courts in Macomb County that I'm aware of. I don't think
anyone in the county yet has had a jury trial.
I think the Supreme Court Administrator's Office has not approved a trial yet, because in phase 2 you have to have their approval. So hopefully, as time goes by, maybe in September, October, we will get to phase 3 where it'll be more on a local level that we can make those decisions.
And you're going to see, even obviously the witness box has some protections, and even the other room where there's the conferences that take place with the prosecutor, the attorneys, maybe even some of the clients that are coming in. There's a separation with the plexiglass, and kind of give people that that level of comfort that they need. Some people have very little interest in wearing masks or whatever, and we get that. But wearing them makes somebody else feel comfortable, so we're making people wear those. I mean, it's part of the guidelines as well,
right?
And, not only just a CDC recommendation. So, but again, they're not doing jury trials, but are they doing traffic? In other words, if somebody does have a ticket or a citation, they're still getting called to court. Can they pay it over the phone? Can they do something online?
They can pay over the phone. They can come in and we'll let them in. They can pay at the window, or they can say, I want a hearing, and we will hold a hearing between the officer, the driver. If there's attorneys, we'll have the attorneys, and we can do a lot of those without bringing in the mass member of what a jury is, the mass members of the public. We can still, as a judge, I'm still doing those kind of things. We have small claims hearings, and some of them we do them online, some of them we do them in the room. And
are there any bench trials going on?
Yeah.
Is that such a thing occurring right now?
There are bench trials actually in family court. There's been a couple judges doing termination trials, and I just had an evidentiary hearing actually yesterday. Had some officers from Clinton Township testify, and just as long as we social distance within the courtroom, it's very doable. It's just right now is the getting to that next level of actually doing a jury trial, let's say on a criminal case. In circuit court, you might have to bring 50, 60 people.
And so with that being said, I mean, obviously you got the prosecutors that have to weigh in on it. How are they dealing with this? Are they if you require some type of a court hearing, is there a requirement on behalf of the prosecutor office to show up and to be there?
Well, yesterday at my hearing, yes, they had a prosecutor there. The prosecutor was in person. Now, the vast majority of things have been done remotely, sentencings, pre-trials, things of that nature. But once you get into the hearings and testimony and eventually a bench trial and jury trials on criminal matters, the prosecutor does have to be there.
And they'll show. If you say, look, you must be here for this type of a hearing, they will show. But for most of the stuff that the day-to-day dealing with a case, most of it's done remotely.
And what about like prisoners? In other words, we're noticing that the population in the jail has decreased dramatically as a result of this corona onset. And with that, God, I think there were almost 200, 250 inmates in a county jail. At one time, there was over 1,500 in there back when I was a sheriff. 250. Now all of a sudden the question becomes, it's grown a little bit more. Since this
it might have gotten up to about 400.
Yeah, I think
the low end was 250, but yes, it's historically as low as I ever remember it.
Right. And so with that, are they still transporting prisoners here if there's a need for something, or are they doing it remotely from the jails?
Depends on the jail. Most of the stuff is done remotely unless we want someone here for a type of hearing where the person gets to see the accuser. All right? And the same thing with the MDOC, Michigan Department of Corrections, the prison system. Most of that stuff is done, the preliminary stuff, at least in my court, are done on the video, but once we go to say we're going to have a preliminary exam to decide whether to move the case up to another court, they will bring them. Okay. They will bring them. So
I had my first, yesterday at my hearing, the defendant was the first time they transferred someone from the jail over. Obviously everything else has been done remotely, but criminal defendants have a right to be sentenced in court. They just almost all of them have waived.
Oh, okay.
So you can sentence them while they're at the county jail doing it remotely. Yeah. Of course, if they wanted to, the sheriff's deputy would bring them over to court.
Yeah, the difficulty with all the Zoom stuff is the attorney's ability to talk to his client. Also difficulty for the prosecutor to talk to the witnesses. And so if you're coming to court and you got a court date and time, please be patient. It takes a little bit of time to deal with all the talk and electronics back and forth, and sometimes we have to, I kick people out of the room so someone can talk on the video, and then I kick them out and bring the other people in so they can talk, and then they all come in back together, and then I can talk. So I'm doing and I'm not allowed in the courtroom, so I'm going in and out of that door quite a bit.
Kicking yourself out.
But getting my aerobics in. It just, you got to be patient. It's going to take a little bit. We're trying to get through it, and we are. Things are moving, just not at the pace we're all used to.
And as you say, I mean, the wheels of justice got to continue, but right now it's kind of been a slow process because of this, concern of the pandemic. And with that, we've seen that it's starting to move in that direction where we're seeing more court appearances. We're starting to see more cases. And as we mentioned at the onset, trying to make sure now that we've had this kind of downtime, I guess, if you will, a way of taking a look at the facilities. And, each one is different. The circuit court, each one of the courtrooms there are different. The district courts are different. So with that, we've had to try to figure out how do we work with the judges, how do we work with our health department, the people from emergency management, to kind of get an idea, even with facilities and operations, what can we provide that we think is going to provide that extra level of security, not only because it's CDC guideline recommendations or executive order recommendations or requirements, but I think because we do want to make sure that people feel comfortable and safe when they come to the courts. And I think this is going to be something you're going to see for an extended period of time. It's not just going to go away over the next couple of months. I think this may be another year or 2 years in the making, this type of setup that people are going to be seeing in the courts.
Yeah, this is one approach. We don't know what no one has a blueprint. There isn't a one size fits all. So if you're going to end up in different courts, it's all going to look a little bit different, each of the courts you go into. And you got to remember, everybody's trying. We're not throwing up slipshod stuff just to get it done. We're trying to make the public feel comfortable so we can get the work done.
Yeah, and we're getting there. So again, appreciate the working relationship, obviously the circuit court along with the district courts, but even from the executive's office to try to figure out, how do we continue to be part of the solution as we move forward, specifically when it comes to the courts here in Macomb County, to keep the wheels of justice turning. So, I want to thank obviously Judge Hackle and Judge Biernat for kind of informing us, giving us some insight as to what's going on here in Macomb County with the courts. And once again, I want to remind you and your family to keep yourself healthy and safe.